Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Old Men Running. Today we are actually going to, I don't know, Sam, what do you think? We should rename this episode to Old Men Coaching, I think.
Yeah, old coach's corner or something.
Okay. So we actually have a very, very special guest. Sam and myself have a coach. We are coaches, but we also have a coach, and that is Coach Bertrand Newson, who is on the podcast with us today. He's not only a coach, he has also been a mentor to Sam and I in our coaching journey. But more importantly, he's also a good friend of ours now. So he
Yes.
he encompasses all three sides of that triangle for Sam and I. We confide in him personally. We ask him, "How do you like those running shoes?" We ask him everything about the endurance sport. And today we just want to talk about what does it mean to be a coach? So the people listening to this who are considering hiring a coach or have a coach, um, what do we think about, and why do we do what we do? It's not because it's going to make us rich. It's going to keep us healthy. We love the sport. I think we all agree to that, right?
Right.
And we love what it gives back to us. But what does coaching give back to us is really the question. So first, I'll ask Coach B. So when you meet with a client and you're talking about coaching them, what wakes you up and what keeps you going to give them the best experience that they can have to make sure that they enjoy the sport of running as much as we do?
Excellent question, Coach Scott. And thank you as well, Coach Sam. First off, before I answer that great question, I want to thank you both for the opportunity to be on your podcast. Incredibly proud of you both, calling you first and foremost friends. You've been an inspiration to me. It's great seeing your growth in the health and wellness industry, having a firsthand seat, watching you both chase down personal best efforts, and then not just focused on self, but paying it forward and saying, you know what? It's something about being part of somebody else's journey, sharing knowledge, continuing to learn and grow, and then the friendship that you two have fostered. I couldn't be happier or prouder. So, and to go back to your question, anytime someone says, do you have some time to talk? That is pretty moving. Do you have some time to talk and can you share? To be as a coach, when someone is knocking on your door and they've already done their homework to some degree, if they want to have a conversation about running or health and fitness or whatever it may be, they have an idea, because they're already making themselves available to learn a little bit more, to check in to see some level of compatibility. But as a coach, that's what lights me up, that someone is at least interested in hearing what you have to say and giving you potentially the opportunity to be part of their health and wellness journey, because a healthier individual is better for everybody else in their life. So a healthier Sam is better for his wife and family and friends. A healthier Scott is better for everybody as well. So when an athlete just wants to knock on the door and say, do you have some time to go through that consultation process, to listen what the athlete has to say and what their journey is, and to see how there's some commonalities to connect and be part of their journey. I mean, it is priceless. So hope that kind of gives a little bit of insight on, for me as a coach, when someone
Right.
is inquiring about, hey, I'm thinking about, chasing down a personal best or getting back to running, or I'm a little intimidated. I'm just looking to get some cursory information. That is it can be a very intimidating conversation initially for the athlete because they feel vulnerable. So the coach's
Mhm.
ability to be mindful of that and not have a cookie cutter approach. If I have somebody who's already, PRing at the half marathon distance, you don't want the athlete to feel that they are not at a certain level. Where we meet the athlete where they are at, and then we hopefully are able to help them navigate the ebb and flow of a training journey that sometimes is very matter of fact and focused with time and distance, and sometimes it's a matter of navigating the flow of life. And our old men running our old men life experience is our biggest asset to help people navigate all the other things around someone getting through long run, cross training, strength training, swimming, biking. It's all those other particulars that make Scott valuable and Coach Sam valuable to athletes out there. So,
Yeah. exactly. That's understanding what the athlete wants and coming up with a prescription and being a bit of a psychiatrist sometimes because you don't necessarily know why they want to run. They don't tell you
Absolutely.
that on that first conversation, right? Sam, when you talk to someone, they don't say, I don't know if everybody comes, I want a PR 5K or I want to lose 50 pounds. I don't know if
Right.
that's a reason to talk to a coach. I think that's a reason to start running, but there's a bit of competitiveness inside them, perhaps. And I think it's our job to determine what that secret is in their mind that's going to make them
Right.
successful.
What their goal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said, Coach Sam, what their goal is, because when someone as a coach need to be mindful of not trying to prove that we're the right person for that athlete. Okay. That's an organic process that will kind of work its way out. We don't want to be quick to try to assess by saying, okay, I've seen this before. You need to do this, 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 and this. It's understanding that athlete's unique journey to this point. Scott, your journey. Okay. Going back to when we first started connecting and communicating. Um, the life events that help shape you getting more active, being more aware of your overall long-term longevity, and having a very clear mission of I need to stay active and what's the best way for me to go about this. Coach Sam, when we started working together, I came on your radar and your own unique personal journey. That in itself, and how it's brought the two of you together right now and paying it forward as coaches to the running community, co-hosting a fantastic podcast, great form, great guest. Your stories are unique. And I early on could have said, oh, okay, Scott, well, you haven't run a half marathon yet, or you haven't done a marathon or this or that. And not listened and understood what life events have helped shape you, your past practices, loves, passions, hobbies, golfer, right?
What ex-golfer?
Yes. And the same thing for you, Coach Sam. Again, thank you for your service. Retired from the Air Force, military police, served in combat, and we all three have significant surgeries, okay, as older men and have been active through those surgeries and have come out of those surgeries with a greater sense of appreciation and purpose. And of course, challenging ourselves, but also saying, you know what? How can my experience help benefit others? So taking the time in the conversation process with current clients or prospective athletes and understanding what their unique journey is. And sometimes coaches, we kind of cut to the chase. We sometimes will put athletes in a box and not take the time to listen and understand. That's where the disconnect starts. And you both do a good job of being connected to your athletes, being able to get out and run shoulder to shoulder with your athletes. To get to know some cases your athletes' partners or kids and things along those lines is priceless. It is a
Right.
difference maker. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think of all of my athletes as, kind of like the way what we've become. I could be friends with some of the athletes that I'm training. There's one guy, the first guy, and this is very well promoted, but Ray, who I ran the New York City Half Marathon with earlier this year, we're friends now. We don't just talk about running. He's trying to get me to play pickleball. And I am ignoring that request because I don't want to play pickleball because pickleball people hurt their ankles. It's too dangerous to hit that little ball. So, but yeah, so we do things together now, and we still talk about running most of the time, but we're starting to get that mentorship and camaraderie together. I saw him in the gym today, and the first thing he talked, hey, I just ran 7 miles. He's proud when he makes an accomplishment. And I love that he gets excited about sharing his accomplishments with me. His fiance and son don't really care that he just ran 7 miles at a 9:10 pace, but he gets to brag to me that he does that. And that gets me very
That's
excited.
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
That
think
makes
you
it
feel
worth
that
it.
too, right?
Yes.
When someone tells you, I just did this, right? That's what I get excited about when I'm
Right. And I'm very proud of them when they do that, like your own kid or something. I'm very happy for them.
right. You want them all to succeed. You want them to say,
Right.
that pain, that doesn't hurt anymore. Hey, that stride workout, that was amazing. I feel so much better. One thing
Yeah,
you taught me,
that's
coach,
a
was
payoff.
yeah, we use Final Surge, plug to Final Surge, pretty decent app, very good app for monitoring workouts. You taught me early on that it was important for me to put in how it felt and what the perceived effort was. And I've done the same thing. I prescribed that to the athletes that please fill that out so I understand whether or not you thought that was challenging or easy, and was it, how did you feel about it? And they do that. And not only do they do that, but at least one of my athletes always leaves me a comment like, that felt great. That was my fastest 5K. Taking a gel after 4 miles on my long run was a great suggestion. Thank you. So that communication really helps too. If you have an athlete that is willing to give you that,
Yeah.
when you
Right.
have that person, then you have an athlete that is good, will do anything for you.
Yeah. Well said.
And
Yeah.
some of them you got to kind of, not or poke a little bit to get something out of them.
Yeah.
I got one that I got to ask him a few times. Well, because he won't comment, and he's like, "Well, I had to do this." I said, "Well, he should let me know." But I got
Yes.
one that's kind of a mannequin that won't say anything or leave comments or anything. So
Yeah. We want to try to find the happy balance. And some athletes are self-starters, are highly motivated, and will just kind of go through the motions. And when you have a scheduled check-in, either Zoom or in person, that's the opportunity to catch up. And it's a good check-in. Others are a bit detached or have other things going on. I mean, again, that's the
right,
benefit of being a mature coach, is that their life is not centered around the training plan, but ultimately there's a point where we agreed mutually to a training plan because there was a goal in mind on some level, micro, maybe time based, happening in the next 30, 45 days or mid-year, year in, and just being able to periodically remind the athlete that, hey, take yourself to that race day, envision how you want to feel, and realize what you do now or what you don't do now is going to influence that day. So you want to give them the opportunity to like materially feel it. And sometimes that can help an athlete re-engage, and realize that, okay, I need to kind of have a reset here. And we all handle those situations differently, but excellent question and commentary.
Yeah, the journey is fabulous. Coach, do you remember the first time we ran together?
Us?
Yeah, just you and I.
Yes, I do, very
Yeah.
clearly. I
Okay.
remember the first time I met you in person. I'm like, damn, that dude is taller than I thought. One,
Yeah,
taller and wiry than I thought. And yeah, it was at the California International Marathon,
that's
right?
right. Yeah,
Yeah, what a weekend. We'll just say that,
yeah.
right? What a weekend.
It
The
was.
weather
Yes.
forecast was turbulent, to say the least. It had all the runners spooked. It turned out to be a pretty good weather day.
Yeah.
And we ran, I think, the first 12, 13 miles together, which was fantastic.
Yes.
And much to the same, Sam and I met in person with the backdrop of the 2000 in Austin Marathon, right?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Sam.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Yeah. So
So,
I knew the answer was races. So
mhm.
it's ideal to meet your athletes at races. And I do remember us running 12 to 13 miles together. And I remember what you said to me. You said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel good." And you said, "Well, go get your PR." And you let me go a little bit faster. You basically paced me for 12 miles. And then
Yeah,
I picked it up a bit, and I did PR. That's still my fastest marathon, the 2022 CIM. And I don't think I could have done it without your guidance and just partnership for the first 12. And
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that
it's
it was great.
important. Early on, I'm going to refer back to Coach Sam, as we had the good fortune of running together in the 2023 Rock and Roll Nashville event. Coach Sam was running, it's a birthday race, and I was running the half marathon. So we ran the first probably 9, 10 miles together before we split off.
right.
Maybe it was a little more. And yeah, really good day. And I I'm not taking credit for the effort, because the work was done long before that particular race day. But what I do feel it did for both of you on those two particular race days, because it happened to be both your personal best, is that you were running at a pace that was conversation in nature, that you didn't go out too fast, too early, and allowed you to conserve enough energy to be able to navigate the balance of the course versus going out hard and crashing hard. You're forced to stick with the old coach and have some caution, and maybe there was a bit of um, intent on that I think served you well both. But ultimately, it was the
It
work that you
served
both
very
had done.
well.
Yeah, you did the work, many months long before that set you up for that race finish. But I think it's a lesson to all of our listeners here that how you start in many cases is the best predictor on how you could potentially finish. And sometimes on race day, we can get a bit overzealous. We can get a little
Absolutely.
eager, again, those are conversations for another day. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's not a 5K marathon. I tell somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have a question for him, Sam?
Um,
Take
when
a
did you
take a
start running, Coach? When was the very beginning for your journey?
Oh, so Coach B's origin story. I was a later in life runner, another thing that the three of us have in common. I believe 40s years in particular. And it was my first timed event was in March of 2010. The first time I ran with any real intent was about, so my birthday's in March. So this is, March 2010, 2011. I was in a relationship with someone who was a runner and, someone who myself always been very social, hotel executive at the time, and enjoyed putting group events together. I was intrigued about running and recall in 2010, 2011, trying just to run a mile, and I was humbled. Granted, felt I was an athlete. Spent time in the gym, played beer league softball. Thought I was active, but cardio fitness is much different from gym fitness.
It
And
is.
a month after that 1 mile kind of time trial, I found myself in the midst of a 4-person marathon relay. And I was the only non runner of that 4-person group. And this was in the backdrop of the Oakland Marathon Running Festival. And I thought I was being slick since I had signed up the group. I can assign the different legs. So I took the shortest leg, thinking, okay, they're going to run longer. They have more experience. Little did I know that the shortest leg had the most elevation, and it was a rude awakening. So, as a rookie runner, I had on running tights, sweatpants, undergarment, long sleeve, hoodie, beanie, neck buff, and gloves. Running, new runner, uphill, and man, I was a hot mess, literally and figuratively. But what I
I bet.
knew very quickly is that the running community was very friendly. Granted, I looked like a newbie, this big dude running in all this gear on, luffing his way, walking his way up these hills. I got pats on the back, I got fist pumps, I got attaboys. I got, you got this. And eventually I made it to the next transition station and gave the timing chip to my team member. And maybe I still felt like it was imposter syndrome, but I felt like I was welcomed by the running community. And I love the sense of teamwork and being part of a team navigating a full marathon distance, and then having the good fortune of making my way to the finish line and watching our fourth leg runner cross the finish line. It was fantastic. I was hooked. So yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's great. Yeah. Yeah.
What a great story.
You look at elevation maps more closely now. I think that's one of
I
the
do.
questions you ask all of
But you
us.
know what? Hey, even for the old running coach here, I have to take I have to apologize to Coach Sam, because in Sam's very first marathon in Austin, um, in Sam's coming from the great state of Florida,
The flat state of
Austin
Florida.
and Florida, the topography is much different. We were navigating, right, Sam, those hills early in Austin, and hills that we weren't running in Florida, right?
Right.
So I may have heard an F bomb or two.
You
Um,
probably heard several.
yeah, I did not communicate to Sam in advance that the amount of elevation gain that rivaled what we see here in California, like San Francisco Marathon, very hilly. Austin is a great marathon, but it does have its fair share of hills, and hills early. And if you don't anticipate that, if you don't know that going into a race, psychologically, it just does something to you. So to
Mhm.
all runners out there and all coaches, and you will get this from all the old men running coaches, we have the ability to a degree to predict the future, looking at a race website, looking at past performance, looking at the elevation gain of a course, and what we can do to mimic some of what we can expect on race day in the midst of our training. So it's not a surprise that the course, and of course, we know when flat courses are flat and fast, but when they have some elevation gain or the area is going to be particularly cold, potentially whitefish that Coach Sam is off to this weekend, or warmer temperature events that you get on a regular occasion, Coach Sam being there in Florida, and Scott, you deal with humidity on a regular basis. So just
Mhm.
again, you have the ability to look and know what to expect. So
Yes. Yeah, I think Sam knew that whitefish was hilly because I ran there
Yeah,
2 years
living
ago.
in that area for as long as I did, but I've been down in Florida for so many years. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because I know that Coach Sam will be flying out to Montana, where he has a lot of roots and family. Scott, you have a son that lives out in that same area as well, and we're going to be wrapping up this episode pretty soon here, as Coach Sam will need to take off. But I'm asking, can I please come back?
Of
Oh,
course.
Yeah, I
oh.
want to come back and continue the
Well,
Absolutely.
conversation.
well,
So,
before you say yes, let's see what the ratings were
oh,
after
well, okay,
a couple
touche,
days. All right.
touche,
So if he gets,
touche.
I say if he gets 3 stars or more, then baby.
All right. Well said. Well said. Because we
You
can
got to get
So
at
if
least
you
use,
want
one
to,
like.
if you
yeah,
want to see
this.
Coach B again, you have to vote and you have to give us a rating.
All right. All right. A lot of knowledge. We're just scratching the surface, team. And I will say this to anyone who is contemplating working with the coach, can it help me be more engaged with my training journey? The response to that is absolutely it can. Find the coach that
Right.
works best for you. And even just having a conversation, most coaches are not going to charge you for consultation. We're happy to give out free advice on what has worked for us and what has worked for other athletes. And you cannot go wrong working with Coach Sam or Coach Stroul. Their total life experience, let alone their practical running experience, will be an aid to each one of you. So, and it may not be for you right now, but you may know somebody, refer them. Have them talk to Coach Sam. Have them talk to Coach Stroul. And they did not ask me to say that. They did
No,
not.
you did not.
Right.
But I do know that they can help you unlock a happier and healthier version of yourself. So, hop on a Zoom with them, hop on a telephone call. They're doing great things in the running community. And if you're looking for any gear advice, these are shoe heads, gadget heads. They know about it. And don't let age fool you. They are dialed in. Okay. They know what they know what's going on. And I'm looking forward to hearing more episodes of the Old Men Running podcast. And keep up the good work, gentlemen. Actually, keep up the fantastic work, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Well,
Coach B.
yeah, thanks very much. I don't think I could have come up with a better conclusion to this episode, special episode with 3 old men coaching. And you will see Coach B again, and you guys know how to get a hold of Sam or I. We're happy to help. And if, like you said, if you just want to ask a question, not necessarily looking for a coach just yet, reach out. We're happy to. We love talking about running. That's why we do this every 2 weeks,
Absolutely.
right? And so good luck on your journeys this weekend, Sam. I'm
For
excited
sure.
for you to
Yep.
go to Whitefish. Hopefully, you'll meet my son and have a beer with him.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to yours this weekend.
And I get to pay it forward this weekend I am pacing one of my athletes this Sunday, and I couldn't be happier to be doing so.
How freaking cool is that?
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it wasn't
I'm
too
very
long
excited.
ago that Coach Sam was in Nashville, where he has family in Tennessee, and was able to run with his granddaughter.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that priceless opportunities, running with family, running with friends that happen to be clients. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So again, to your listeners, if you have any questions or you're uncertain, you're looking for some motivation, inspiration, and because it's easy for coaches to say, here's the plan and go and do it. or you to go to the internet and print out a PDF. But for it to go from a plan to being actionable, we're helping you navigate the ebb and flow of everyday life and getting healthier in the process. These two gentlemen can help you do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach B.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode. Also, you know how to give us feedback, and we look forward to talking to you again in a couple weeks, where we're going to see Sam's Whitefish Marathon Finishers Medal. So check in for that in 2 weeks.
And Scott's. And yours.
And yours. All right. All right.
All right, team. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
All right, Coach B. Thank you.